What? Well, hello there, good people of the internet world. Welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. I hope you are all doing well. Hello to Tyron on this wonderful day. I didn't even get to get anything set up. I told because I was on the phone on Zoom call with my PM. We were going through one of the bugs and we were pairing on it, which was kind of fun. I love pairing. But hi, Tyron was asking, am I working on a holiday? Today is not observed by Sagetti, an international company, even though it should be. But that's fine. Our client actually has today as a holiday, which is interesting because we kind of don't know if we are not supposed to be billing them today or if we're allowed to work on the client project. Not a holiday for Deflux either. Hello, Deflux. I hope it's still a good day for you. That your week is starting off fantastic. You're looking into unit testing. Also, Microsoft just moved to DTO, or unlimited time off. So that's interesting. Yeah, that is quite interesting. It's very interesting. Like the thing that I would prefer is having a set number of hours that you get off, and you get that many hours per year essentially. And then you get prorated for any amount if you leave early and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it looks like an interesting thing. Or concept, or what have you. Let's see. This is going to be really interesting. Oh, am I laggy? That's really crazy. I didn't even have time to set that up. Goodness grievous. Okay, moment please while I finish getting set up. Close. And you interrupt. Close. You can stay, but I need you on a different screen. Close. Which screen are you on? You're on a good screen. Screen? You go over here for a minute. Maybe join. You know what else? I hadn't started my bot. Okay, this one is Financial Management Tracker. You go over here. You open a new tab, pasta in the link from Tyron. Discretionary time off. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to read more about. I'm not super duper trying to figure out what it's all about currently, but it does sound like a have some ideas on what it could be or what it could mean and why people are unhappy with it. Interrupt, I said. Um, and it's mostly to do with people that just don't take vacation time and having that lump sum paid out. That would be my guess. ¿Qué más? Does anyone know what's going on? Because I sure don't. Whoa. My throat is suddenly super duper dry. Duper super dry. Okay. Tyron is saying, I'm worried people will feel like they don't deserve it and won't take it. Ah, so like the predominant mentality, most likely where you work, is something along the lines of work hard, play later, which ends up being work hard, play never. No, it's subjective. Boss, I want to take a week off. Can I please? It used to be, oh, it used to be objective. Look, boss, I have X hours available. Can I take a week off? And now it's just going to be, I need a week off. And boss is like, well, I don't know that like you would have accrued that much. So it's like, yeah, it's a really, really interesting. Okay. Count summarize what we're looking at. Where are we? What are we doing? We're back at chat. That's where we are. So Deflex is taken today to do some unit testing, at least some research on unit testing. I will be taking a few weeks as soon as I'm done with any new work items that were assigned to me that are outside of this. I will be getting back to doing a lot of UI, UX automated testing, setting up automation so that we can test all of our clicks, all of our UI end to end type of stuff. Behavioral testing. I don't know what to call it. So hopefully I'll get better at that. I was asking around to try to figure out if there are some easy ways that I can set up, that I can think about the design of the application and figure out how exactly to make it responsive. Because the app really it's a desktop app designed with desktop in mind, which is you're going to be running in a window that doesn't work like a web app. Like if I do this in Visual Studio and I squish it down to this far, my file menu, or just my menu bar, turns into this. My windows get scrunched down until they are completely not usable. And they want me to essentially create an app that's more like a web application so that if you scrunch it down, you'll have scroll bars that appear as needed and you never lose the content. It just gets rearranged, aka responsive design. And it's like, but the other thing that they did in the original app, which just threw me completely, is they had a one-to-one scaling. I don't know if it was one-to-one, but when you make the window smaller, the font size scales with it. And not in a breakpoint kind of way. It's just smaller, 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 unreadable, illegible, completely just invisible. It's like that. They wanted me to replicate something like that, and I'm like, ugh, no, no, I can't. In good conscience, I can't. Yeah, I said that right. Ugh. Boy. So, again, being in a meeting all the way up until the stream starts kind of throws me, but that's okay. We're just going to continue on. So what we did last time, and I haven't done a commit lately, and I need to. What we did last time was we set up the account summary component and related models. And functionality. In short, that's what we did. So we created these models here, and we added some controller endpoints for an API approach versus just the server-side approach, which is just the service for getting account info, account summary info, that is. So here's the controller with the API endpoint set up so that we can get the data from the server if we're on a client side, for example, and not a server side project. Then we modified these to have different names. Anyway, point is, we got all of the account summary stuff to work. However, what we left off with was needing to get the pending amount, because in our design, we said that when we display the account summary, we would like the account balance pre-pending stuff. So what is the account balance without taking out things that have not yet posted? And then we have the adjusted balance, which is the current account balance with any pending changes, and then applied. And then that's where we go there. You know? I sure don't. So I'm going to check in this locally. And we're going to now add the pending balance. Hello, Dukasoft. Happy Monday to you too as well. All two of you. So to get the pending balances, oh yeah, there were two things that we needed to do. One is to get the pending balances to show, and the second one is to make sure that we're applying all of the addition and subtraction for transactions that happen to that specific account. Because for accounts like credit cards and loans, usually paying into or paying from that account to another place, so you use that as the account that you're paying for something else from, you increase the amount. And then when it's something like a checking account or a savings account, you decrease the amount when you're paying from that. You know what? I am surprised that the bot is still running because I don't have the browser open for my bot. I have my bot running as a Windows service, and I had assumed that the only way that it was doing the response, what is it called, ping or echo? I can't really remember what it's called. But you know how on occasion, or I don't know if you know, or if this is even the right way, Twitch will send a request over to "Are you still listening?" place, and then the bot is supposed to respond with "I'm still listening. I'm still here." And so I didn't know that that was running in the bot itself and not in the web app. But now I know. So the bot is staying alive. It's keeping itself alive, connected to Twitch, which is fantastic. So I don't need the browser open. The only thing that the browser is going to be for then is for me to display various parts of the bot in a visual way on OBS. That's good to know. I do need something that will manage the bot separately. When I do this, it makes it look like I have a clue what I'm talking about, but I don't. So we need the pending. We need the pending. How would I want to do this? I'm going to do it in the opposite way. I'm going to do it in the opposite way. I'm going to say pending deposits, and that'll be oh, dang it. Man. Dang it. Exactly. So var deposits is account transactions. As no tracking because we don't want to keep track of this. Not account.transactions. Wait, it is account.transactions, but we aren't doing as no tracking. Okay, anyway, where X arrows X is deposit. Type. Transaction type is deposit. Purple deposit. Oh my goodness. Leave me alone. So I have wrapping turned on, and so that throws me off as well. We're gonna do one for each. You're gonna be payments. You're gonna be transfers. You're gonna be pay transfer. Yeah. There's a reason that the keyboard shortcut is Control EW by default. Deflex. I have no idea how to even make a rhyme, let alone come up with clever enough lyrics. ChatGPT, obviously. I was trying to ask ChatGPT for some pointers on what I was talking about earlier. What was I talking about earlier? Responsive UI. Right. This is so confusing. I forgot that account has transfers in account, which is broken up. It's not the same as these things here. Okay, This is I'm throwing myself off so much. But anyway, this is going to be pending deposits. Oh, dang it. Which is going to be our deposits where X posted date is no, not has value. Not posting date has value. Dot sum. Yeah. And in this, dang it. Let's just do this. It's going to be easier in the long run. Isn't it? I hope so. Um, so if you can't tell what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the total amount of everything and then the pending amount based off of whether or not it has a posting date. You, what am I? What? What in the world is going on? Does anyone know what's going on? Because I sure don't. Deflex just came up with a RAP, C# programming language, a key to success, a tool that can help you leave homelessness. With a bit of effort and a lot of drive, you'll soon be coding and feeling alive. Off the streets and into a job with C#, your future is looking bright and robust. So learn the syntax and master the flow and watch as your life takes a turn for the better, don't you know? Arigato! What? Got Dukasoff dancing. He was headbanging earlier, now he's just dancing. He's doing the dolphin dance. Okay. Does this work? We got all of our payments summed up. We have only the payments where posting date has value. Is that faster or less processor intensive than doing where posting date has value and then where posting date does not have value? And that way, this is just the current total and this is the pending amount? Or is it faster to do the cumulative total, the adjusted total, and then the pending amount? I would say filter first and then sum both times. So that I only have to do that once, that's where we might be able to. Tukasoft just gave a shout out to Deflex. If you guys don't know Deflex, he streams on rare occasions and he streams. He's planning on streaming some coding and or DJing eventually. And yes, I mean DJing, like music and stuff. That's how he knows how to rap so well. His name clearly says streams. He's trying to force himself into it, I think. That's why he changed his handle. All right, account transactions. where post, I cannot type, posting date has value, not has value, transaction, posted transactions, and since I'm going to use this down here, should I go ahead and to list these so that they're not enumerables that need to evaluate all the time? Instead, they'll materialize. And then in place of every other one, we'll do posted transactions. And get rid of all of the where nots. And it'll be easier to read, easier to maintain, easier to understand what the truck is going on. So posted transactions. This one's going to be a little bit harder because this needs to be where transaction. And the problem is I don't think that I'm able to go from account.transfers back to transaction because I'm not including that when I am to summarying it. So instead what I'll do is include target account. And that way we can still do posted transactions. Where dang it. Nope. Just kidding. We can't do that. We can't do that. Yeah, let's do it this way. Okay. This is really, really hard. So we can get transfers where the account is the target. Okay, okay, okay. Does that make sense? Count.transfers. And then we'll get back the transaction. And posted date has value. Include X zeros. Dang it. Oh man, today is a very dang it kind of day. I started off this morning working on the UI stuff, and then I was like, dang it, I need to work on some bugs that were assigned to me. But then I saw an email that came in for a PR from Friday where it was like, I ran this code through ChatGPT and it said, this is a pretty standard way of doing it. It's a good approach. However, best practices say you could do it this way. And then it spit out some code for implementing that best practice kind of way. And so the reviewer was like, maybe you could look at doing it this way. And I was like, sure. I actually just took the code from the proof of concept, plugged it directly into the app, and because we need a working demo in master by Wednesday, I created the PR for it because it's working fantastically. But I can go back and refactor it. So I'm going to go back and refactor it. But let's go ahead and take the existing code because it's done well. It's done smart. Not as smart as ChatGPT made it, but still smart. Anyway, pending transactions. Do I need to write up comments on all of these? Is this easy to understand? We don't need this anymore. We're looking at all of our posted transactions versus all of our pending transactions. Posted deposits total. Yeah, so you, and you are going to be our posted, this thing total. So from our posted that we enumerated here, so we only have to enumerate once, since the data isn't going to be changing while we're running this, or we're not expecting the data to change while we're running this. We're getting back not exactly sure what your suggestion is. Make it pending because you changed the other ones to pending. No thanks. So we're just trying to get back the posted amount, which would be our current balance, and then our pending, which is going to be our pending balance. And then we're going to come up with, all right, and all of you are going to be posted. And then we're going to come up with all of our pendings. Dude, you were supposed to copy the comma too. Dude. Oh my gosh. I'm failing. Our pending is going to be all of our pending amounts. And there is no word total. And it's just penned. I don't like penned. Let's go ahead and make that pending. Oh. Dang it. Pending. Oh boy. Except that you two have total. You have total. And you have total. And you are an L. No idea where that all came from. 11. Whoops. Okay, does this work? This should give us back each of our accounts one by one, or just whichever account we feed to it. This specifically gives us one account that we feed to it and gives us back a summary of that account that gives us the ID name, the current total balance based off of how much money was put into it, how much money was taken out of it from the beginning of time. And then this one will give us how much is pending to be put in and taken out. The other thing that we're going to need is, and I'm going to go ahead and create the variable here. var. Naming things is hard. The variable that I need to create is the one for determining whether we should be adding payments or subtracting payments. So it's going to be I'm actually going to make it short, which is going to be either -1 or 0, which I guess means that we can make it yeah, I'm just going to make it a short. Or I guess it's going to be whatever it ends up being from the compiler because it's going to be a var. So it doesn't matter. Point is, it's going to be a number that's either -1 or 0. And that will be for transaction multiplier. Maybe you guys can help me come up with a better name for this. I'm sorry, not -1 or 0. It's going to be -1 or +1. And for now, we're just going to have everything be a +1. But this is going to be my to do. Update the account entity to include a flag for whether payments add or subtract from the total, and use that flag to determine whether to use whether -1 or +1. So for now, this is going to be multiplier. Payment multiplier. So what we're going to do then is multiply all of these by payment multiplier. And that way, when we do this math, we're going to get the right amount. So if we are doing a credit card and we started off with depositing 1,000, then that means it should decrease by 1,000 because the payment multiplier would be -1 for credit cards. Something seems backwards about that, but we're going to figure it out. Yeah, it's almost like this is a deposit multiplier. Yeah, let's do deposit multiplier instead because it just makes more sense to me. And we'll look at that very shortly, but first let's just see if this thing gives us back some good data. Time to go back to that data entry page. Usable? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, we should be hitting this breakpoint eventually because it's right here. There. Okay. So we oh no. Oh no, I had this issue in the Access database too. Floating point precision, or just precision, 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 precision. And it's because of the way that the numbers are stored in the database. Well, let's go look at the database. It's this sum here that's changing the precision on it. And I don't know if you guys could actually see that, but the amounts that it's giving me back are 9999999 at the end, even though it should just be 34.77, for example. Yeah. Yeah, this is right. Okay, this is right. So in the database, we've got Finance Man tables. Let's do payments because that's what we had. Or I have no idea what we actually had. Maybe they were transfers. Maybe they were deposits. Maybe they were cookies. Who knows? Let's go to transactions. I see some seesaw. Okay, so the first record is account ID 1, or I guess transaction ID 2, which is we don't know. It's not a deposit because we would have seen transaction ID 2. So let's check out payment, which means we would want payment details with it. And there it was. Okay, so it's a payment with payment ID 1, which is this one, which makes sense. It's the first record I entered in the amount of $2.24. What was I looking at for that? We're just verifying that the transactions for account ID 1 total $34.76 or whatever it was. Oh, we're looking at how the amounts are stored in the database. And they are stored as specifically 2 decimal place numbers if it doesn't end with 0. And what about deposits? Same thing, 2 decimal places that we see so far. And transfer? We don't know because we don't have any decimal places. However, that means that the most number of decimal places that we have in the database is deuce. And therefore, it's a rounding issue with this. Does anyone have any, if you're around and you're available to chat, you definitely don't have to, but does anyone have any good straightforward ways to fix this? Just off the top of my head, what I would want to do is, and maybe it's multiplying it by an integer. Use a decimal type in C#. No, I'm lazy too. So right now, well, yeah, okay, so then do I force this variable to be a decimal? Or do I make amount be a decimal instead of double? Because that would give it more precision. Take this off. Okay, Bardaki. All right, we'll try it then. Let's just change this over to decimal. I don't think that this should change the database structure itself when we do this. We got payment detail and transfer that will also have decimals, dmail, and we will have the payment with a total that needs to be a decimal now. M is the money type. No floating point shenanigans. Cool. So we will do that. Transaction, do you have a total as well? No, because you would need to know transaction type, but I could still do that. Like if I wanted to, we could have another not mapped field. And in fact, I do want to. And we can do public decimal total. The problem is this doesn't really work for transfers, except it does work for transfers because there is only one monetary value for it. So we can do a transaction type switch, and then we got our three transaction types. Can you populate them for me? Because I'm lazy. And then we'll have a default of settle monies. M is for the money. Okay. So then this will be just our deposit record dot amount defaulted to 0. This one is going to be our payment record dot payment details dot sum amount. Actually, we can just, now that I put the total in payment, we can just do total. Payment dot total. Come on. Defaulted to 0. A decimal literal for $10 is e.g. 10M. And I'm pretty sure they chose M because monies. I can agree with that. I don't see anything wrong with that statement. Okay, so there we go. We now have a total that we can get off of transaction type. And so that's going to simplify all of these. And now you are completely angry because current balance is a double. You are never going to be null. And you need to be a decimal. No worries, you do not need to look it up. I don't need the reason why we should use it unless it's something that's like, I don't know. If you use anything else, then you will kill 10,000, I don't know, bacteria. I don't know. I can't come up with cool things. Okay, so we have a total on transaction now. I'm trying to get back to our service. So instead of all of these shenanigans, not the service, I'm trying to get back to this. Instead of all of these shenanigans, we can just do that total, that sum, y. Oh, dang it. Okay. I think I might want to bring back deposits, transfers, and Cookie Monsters and stuff. Var deposits is going to be posted deposit. Dang. Posted deposits are posted transactions where transaction type, oh my goodness, is a deposit. Simple. And our, I don't like the squigglies. Make the squigglies go away. Then our pending deposits is our pending transactions. Oops. And then we get payments and transfers. Okay. But these are all going to be transfer outs. And then our transfer ins are still going to be these two. ChatGPT is yelling at me. Poor deflux. All right, and then we don't need to worry about this at present. This is getting kind of janky. Janky. Okay, so instead of doing the sum here, wait, what if I did the sum here? What if I did the sum there? You have it sum on you. Okay, so dot sum, y arrows, y dot total. Is total nullable? I don't remember if I made total nullable. I did not. Whoa. Thank you so very much for the follow fire looks. Or is it fire locks? Really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. We are doing some .NET Blazor development. I am making a whole bunch of code on the screen. That looks disgusting and ugly. All right, and then if I just add the word total to the end of this, all these. I don't know why I'm like single clicking on each of these now instead of just using multi-caret. All right, what about that? And then instead of putting this up here, why don't I just put it down here? So I only do it once. Times. Because no matter what, this math is always going to be the same. It's just did we go in the positive direction or the negative direction? Any money in would be increasing the value, any money out would be decreasing it, and then we determine whether or not to negate the total number at the very end. That's a good idea. Okay, so that should give us that. And now in order to prevent any other running issues of multiplying an int with a decimal where the int should be turned into a decimal, we're still going to declare this as a decimal. Adding the m. So let's find out if we have non-rounded precise numbers. Oh, dang it, which we can't do. And not complicitly extrovert double to decimal. So can't spell. Lost the ability to spell. Who else? Who else wants some? Oh, you're good now. Transfer. Amicable. And tell me that you love me. Don't lie to me. We're good now? This one? Cool. ¿Quién más? I think that's everyone. Rebuilt. Depsimal. Still got some errors. Those errors tell me. I like the output version of the errors. More cannot convert. That one's a lie. There we go. Oh. Is there such thing as next decimal in random? Lies are the hardest to convert. I didn't think so. So you have to convert it to a decimal. I mean, this really shouldn't be an issue because this is just in our test. But it should be a tissue because we want our tests to continually pass. And shouldn't you be rounding? Like, why am I not rounding here at all? Oh. Oh, wait. No, that doesn't make sense. Use sandpaper to round edges. That's what I'm doing. How are you doing, prog testing? I hope it's a wonderful, fantastic start of your week. If it is, in fact, the start of your week. No, it's going to shit. That sucks. How can we make it better for you? What it is that happened? Can we listen to your troubles? You built. Still no. iTest model does not implement. Dang it. I hate it when I accidentally do that. I like to do it on purpose. Okay. You should to need to being a decimal. Here's my rounding. I wonder if I'm supposed to be doing that. I wonder if I did that before. Rounding to 2 decimal places. Every time. Duh. So count, not count summary view model. Transaction, you there. I need to, you should be fine. It's when I have to do math for summing that I should be rounding to 2 decimal places. These are solid amount numbers. Could I? It'd be a terrible idea, wouldn't it? Could I just tell my account model to give me a total for each type? Deposit total, payment total. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Live coding is saying, pretty sure this little behavior is the plot of Office Space and also the plot of Superman 3, apparently. I know the Office Space one. Didn't know that this happened in Superman as well. What happens to those fractions of a cent that get rounded off? Oh, they even reference Superman 3 in Office Space? Whoops. Shows how much I paid attention to it. Yeah, you're not a thing. Stop lying to me, man. Oh, I've never seen Superman 3 either. Slav coding. Awesome. Now let's do a debug. Thindle's here. Hello, Thindle. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Prog testing says response from initiate session needs to trigger a JavaScript SDK to open an iframe for phone number to be typed in. Not working in my JavaScript. Sad face. Speaking of not working, we now have an error 500 when trying to get line 14, and it's probably because all of my view models are still using double as well. No, you're a decimal. Right. Account summary.razor.cs line 14. I guess the thing that really matters is who are you trying to call? Everyone knows the answer to that. Account service. That's right, Joe Mama. Good response, Deflux. You got it right on the nose. And I need to refresh in order to see it in the network tab because DevTools wasn't open. Summaries. So it is definitely the summaries endpoint that is causing this issue. But the thing that I wanted to do was go back to my console and figure out what the actual exception was on the server. And it's probably to do with Entity Framework not being able to cast from double to decimal. Yeah, so I do need to do a migration to get the database to use the right type for that field since I modified the entity. Let's do that. I totally thought that they were all... Oh, it's probably using a float. Probably using a float. It's using a float, and that needs to be changed to decimal. Okay, so let's do this migration really quick. The only changes that I should have made so far are to the view models and to the entities. Oh, and I guess to the account service. So let's stage these because these are all going to be part of a database migration. Then we will commit these separately. So to do a database migration, we're going to select the migration project as our default project here in the package manager console and select it as our startup project because it is the namespace that I'll be using for my database stuff here in the package manager console. And we're going to add migration, changed amount fields to deck. Good naming, such good naming. See if we lose any data. Oh, I should have went ahead and added the we're going to. Well, we'll do it in a separate migration step, but we'll do it immediately after. But it looks like it worked. It's changing our float columns to decimals. We're not replacing any data. And because a decimal is more precise, it has more decimal points than a float, we shouldn't be losing any data from that column when we change it to a decimal type. So let's go ahead and update database to apply those changes. And updated database is what I said. And success. We should still have those tables open. Just do a quick refresh, and we see we didn't lose any of the decimal places, but now we always show 2 decimal places no matter what for that monetary amount column. There they are. Good. Okay, so the other field that I wanted to add was to my account table, whether or not we should be increasing on deposit. So let's go into models, account. And the thing that I've been struggling with is deciding whether or not to put a field in the account table, public bool increase on deposit, get'll settle. And the reason that I didn't want to do increase on deposit is because I wanted it to be the default of false. So I wouldn't have to default this in the database or in the code either. I just wanted to default to false for whatever this is. So if I do increase on payment instead. So I don't know whether to put that with an account specifically or to put it in the account type, which doesn't make sense. So like for anything that is an account type of whatever account type you created in your app, you get by default checking, savings, credit card, loan, I think. So the credit card and loan would be 2 account types that always have increase on payment set to false. Increase on payment. Yeah, man, that sucks. Because this is on payment and transfer out versus deposit and transfer in. And if I knew the terms better, if I was a financial guru, then I could say increase on credit versus increase on debit, I guess. And then we would call the transaction a debit or a credit. But anyway, do I put that on the account type so that any loan account that you create will have that? Or do I put it on the account itself and say, on a per account basis, do you want this account to increase when you put money into it? Or do you want it to decrease when you put money into it? And I think it makes more sense to put it in account type. That's okay. I'm missing chat all over the place. Dukasoff said, I crashed the internet connection for 30 minutes today. It was fun. Good shit. Are we now saying that a lot? And then we talked about Office Space, and then Deflex incorrectly said Ghostbusters. And then we got a follow by Nah Crimes. Thank you so much for the follow. And so Frog Testing said, in response to something that Live Coding said back to him, I don't see where Live Coding added you. Am I blind? Oh, there it is. Something about it sounding sad. Because I can't see the message. It's stuck behind this. Oh, and there it goes. Son of a. Never mind. I can see it now. And now I lost it. That does sound sad. So, product testing said in response to that, but I'm not giving up. It is very important to be a happy trooper. Keeping up moral is paramount. Yeah. If that's one of your core values, then I am all for that because I have that as a core value as well. Not letting a situation bring me down. And not in a toxic positivity kind of way either, but not losing morale because of a situation. Although I think you said moral. Keeping up moral is paramount. So that for me is number one. Integrity. Amin is here. Dina wants to know how we're all doing. Dukasoft is doing pretty good. So I think I'm going to go with an account type is the thing that will tell us whether or not this specific account will increase when you pay from it. Man, it's so backwards, but it makes sense. Keeping up morals, which is a fruit. Oh, a mushroom. But morals with no E at the end are things you live by, things that drive your behavior, things that are your standard way of behaving, or a standard for the way you behave, not the standard way you behave. The thing that drives your decisions. Keeping up moray eels also. They're so pretty and scary. All right. I'm adding the field. So I'm getting rid of it from account, which I did. Keeping it in lookup account type. So this is going to be another migration called add full field to account type. What a terrible, terrible, terrible. It just feels like it's going to be backwards no matter which one I choose. One person is going to read this yeah, and then everything is going to default to false. If I put this as decrease on payment, it's still going to be read backwards. Increase on backwards, yeah. So I really should use the financial terms like increase on debit or something where anytime that you charge something to an account, it's a debit. Anytime that you remove to add money to an account, it's a credit. I don't know. And then whether or not we're increasing on debit or credit. But I don't know the terms, so I don't know if that's right. So I'm going to go with this. I have a feeling this is going to fail because when we add this column, it's going to add as nullable false. And I think because all of these records already exist, it's going to give us an error, even though it's going to try to set all of the values to false immediately after. But let's find out. Update database. Hey, it worked. So let's go back to account, or not back to, I guess this will be the first time we're looking at account type. To data. And then I guess I really should have added a seed so that credit card and loan get set to true. So where are my seed? Would be in the database table. Look up account type. Credit card. you're going to default to increase Y, increase on payment is true. Oh, because I'm falling outside of the curly braces. Okay, so that should be the only default account that gets added from the seed that will increase on true on payment. Database updated, did it. Anyway, good enough for me. Not even government work. It was terrible for government work. Let's do all of the database migration stuff. Stage. 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 Where are my view models getting updated with this? On stage. Yeah, okay. Added a flag to account type to show when to increase the amount. Added, what was the first thing that we did with this? We changed the data type on amount, the decimal. These are terrible commit messages, by the way. Commit messages should be short. The code should be self-explanatory. Like, I shouldn't be telling it what I did in order to accomplish the thing. I should just say what the overall effect was. My bad. Okay. Anyway, now that that is taken care of, we should have a whole bunch of decimal values coming into the app, so we no longer have an error 500. So we hope. I'm going to try to open DevTools as soon as possible. Oops. Wait, what? Now the app is not running to begin with. Wait, output. I don't know what, oh, duh. I have the migration project set as my starting app. I need the server set as startup. I guess I could have just went to this drop down here, but I'm not thinking right now. Not doing it. F12 as quickly as possible. We got it up, which means we should see in our network tab the request to summaries right there, which is pending until we get a JavaScript error in which we don't care about the, oh, no, we're at a breakpoint. That's what happened. Come on, brains. And now we are getting non-rounded values. We're getting the monetary value with 2 decimal places. Let's just hope that there isn't ever a country in the world or a currency in the world that needs more than 2 decimal places. And guess what? There is. Isn't like, aren't all of the cryptocurrencies like 20 or so decimal places? 1 hour later. See, it's that easy. Yeah, I guess I didn't really consider that. I don't know very much at all about cryptocurrencies, but I'm kind of thinking that they go out to more than 2 decimal places. which should still be manageable with this, right? It's just I can't do the math.round for all of my transactions. They're cryptic. I'd buy some Lioncoin. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to get started with that, so it's probably not going to happen. Yep. Okay, but it worked. We're good to go. We should see all of our summaries more interestingly when we get to our credit card. We're still going to see a positive value, even though the only thing the credit card has are payments and student loan as well. Oh, sorry. Those are going to be negative because I haven't applied the check yet, which I need to do now. So if account, what am I doing? Account dot account type dot increase on payment, then negative 1M, else 1M. Okay, so now we should see it for the credit card on the next run, where the credit card will still be a positive number, even though the total is going to be a net negative because we are flipping the sign. Except that credit card wasn't one of the... Okay, well, Bitcoin has Satoshi, which is 1/1 millionth of a Bitcoin. But you could track values in Satoshis and convert to Bitcoin for render only. Okay. So based on the currency type itself, we just adjust it to look like either whole numbers or up to 2 decimal places, and then have some kind of converter or some kind of field that essentially says display currency, like display it as 1/1 millionth of the value that we gave it. And is that how cryptocurrencies are specified anyway? Whatever amount of a Bitcoin? I mean, yeah. I'm not going to retain the information. I'm asking because it is curious, because like my brain is already trying to structure the database so that we can do that, which would be a field for cryptocurrency conversion or something like that. And then you just say times 10 to the negative whatever. Anyway, the good news is it looked like it. Um, that's an issue my brain has too. It's like let's start designing this thing, even though I'm gonna lose the information before we even get to the point of designing it. I'm not sure about other crypto, and in theory they could divide it more. That's one of the big points of them. They can always be broken down into smaller if there is no smallest unit. And live coding is saying, yeah, I've heard of databases where people store cents as an integer and then convert to full dollars for the UI only. So, like, the only thing that you store is the total number as a whole number, and then that would be whatever the smallest unit is or something. Ah, I've only heard tales. Just need to qualify. Haven't seen it in the wilds. Only heard tales. But Thindle says I've experienced it. Okay, so I want this thing to actually display. Meow, meow. Will you display for me? Let's put this out in our account summary page. Component is what I said. What? And that would be here, which is if account summaries.any at, I was like, why am I not getting IntelliSense? Any, then tr td call span 3. Oh my goodness, can't type, but yes, that's what I'm trying to type here, Copilot. So please fill in the information for me. And so let's go ahead and populate the no accounts message in our resources file. And I decided to go with one shared resources localizer file so that we only have one copy of all of the possible strings that we could use in the application, one translation file for each of those strings. Okay. Else, oh, what are you doing? I split this up into the table. I think I only made rows. Okay, we're okay. So we have the grid itself, which is the thing that shows all of the records, and then we have the rows. So then for each, you're close, but at least, well, I don't know what this is. It's close. It's close to what I want. Just let me accept it. Except that this is going to go into the rows. So this is going to be an account summary row with model being her account summary. And again, this is advised because it makes testing the overall grid component separate than testing all of the individual row components. So we make sure a row renders correctly. We make sure that the grid renders correctly, regardless of whether it has data or not. And then we make sure that the account summary component renders correctly, regardless of whether this thing gives us the right HTML. Now, is he actually going to test them? Is he going to show B unit test for them? I hope so. Okay, so here's the thing that we should have. There will be an on click for all of the accounts. It's just that it's going to be C# handled. And we'll use a code behind file. And it's just going to be handle private void handle account clicked. And so what this is going to do is navigate slash somehow show what is this word? Somehow show the transaction history for this account. So whether that's going to be in a flyout, whether that's going to be a dialog, or if it's just going to update the grid at the bottom to add a filter for this account only, we will determine that later. So that's what this is going to be. And I don't know. Like I know that this is a common practice is to use JavaScript void for an anchor tag when it really is a link, but it's more like an action button styled to look like a link. I like that we wouldn't have to remove padding, we wouldn't need to change margins or anything like that if we keep it as an anchor. But it really is a button. I'll keep it as an anchor tag and we'll run with it. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, so this thing is now an account summary view model. Which is nullable. Okay. Okay. And we'll do the, actually, we'll make this thing not nullable because it doesn't make sense to have a row by itself just sitting out there, an account summary row. If you're going to use it, you had best populate the account summary view model. Cool. Okay, so we'll get the account name, and if model dot pending balance is not equal to 0, then we will add a space. Actually, since it's in a span, we'll be fine because we can just give the span a left padding, left margin, sorry, of 1 character, so it looks like a space. If sub badges apparently gets hidden when the sub runs out. I don't know what you mean. I'm assuming your sub ran out. As you mentions. Okay, so I think that's all of the markup. Curious. If our account summaries is a list of account summary, and we're enumerating through each account summary in our list of account summaries, how is the compiler determining that the current account summary is nullable? Is it because I'm backwards? No, it's not because I'm backwards. "50 gift subs gave me a pink gift badge." Oh, so like when the people who you gifted the subs to, when their sub runs out and it falls below that threshold, you no longer have the badge. This is really curious. I don't know why. Oh, oh, oh my gosh. Um, so this thing was trying to give me a list of account summaries, which is this component. Or this component here, instead of the account summary view models. Stop it. Okay, so now we have an account summary grid, and I made the decision before that we're going to populate the account summaries within the account summary grid. So we're going to need account summaries. Maybe I already created a account summaries variable in the code behind, perhaps. Account data is what I called it. It's not end. So private. Are you going to be read only? No, it won't be read only. So the thing that we're going to need to do is hook this up to probably state at some point in time so that we can get the updated balances as we add and remove transactions. It's either that or just, yeah, no, regardless, we're going to need some way to communicate to this component that a transaction was entered and you need to update the values for at least one of the accounts. So this is account summary view model, list of account summary view model. Called account summaries, and you are going to be nullable so that while it's loading, then we can get that loading. Oh, crap. Which means accounts. Whoa. Baby shark. Thank you so much for the bits, Tukasoft. Oh my gosh. That was a little bit louder than I was expecting it to be in my ears. I don't know how loud it was for you. What? Take that, stupid system. And now he has another badge. Thank you so very much, Tigasoft. I really appreciate it. What was I doing? What was I thinking? Where is brain? I can't select this. Text. True. So true. Like, I don't know. Something happened to my Visual Studio. Oh. Oh. Response model of IEnumerable of. So account summaries response is what we get back. And the reason that I'm giving back the response model and putting it here as a private variable is so that if we run into an error, then we can display that error somewhere up here. So I'll just put it here for now because lazy. And so if count summaries response was error, then we will render that error. Just like that. Super duper simple. Okay, otherwise, we will do account summaries response dot data. Now we need this to be nullable, and while it's null, if count summaries is null, else if not any, then we will print out a tr td call span 3. Do you have some text for me? Loading, which we should already have a loading in our resources file. Loading. And we could also use an animation. Only 4K bits to the next patch. You're not actually trying to get there, are you? I mean, I appreciate you, but you really, really don't have to. I'm just glad you're here. Like, you do so much for the stream already. And I really appreciate that. So thank you, is what I'm trying to say. You two are now account summary resp. We don't need a debug.writeLine anymore because we'll see it on screen. Ampersand. This is what it'll look like while it's loading. And then, yeah, so this is currently an IEnumerable. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to keep it as an IEnumerable when I pass it to the component, or do I want it to be the serialized list? Because what might happen is if the component re-renders, it might re-process the enumerable versus just printing out the values from the list. I don't know. We'll go with an IEnumerable for now. Oh, and you are no longer not nullable. So there. Yeah, and that way, if I wanted to, I could have a filter on here and it would affect what gets passed in here without needing to do something like toListing and applied filter. Okay, regardless, that means that our application should now on the home page show our account summary. We'll move it to where it's supposed to go soon. Complete with current balance, pending amount, total balance. And we're going to change a couple of the entries in the database to be to have a posted date. I still need a way to edit existing transactions so that we can mark them as posted. Okay, so first thing we get, whoops, is a loading, and then the next thing we get is an error. Perfect. It's behaving exactly the way I don't want it to. The response does not indicate success. Null reference exception. Drink. This is the first null reference exception we've gotten in a while. Thanks to nullable types, we've been avoiding null reference exceptions pretty good. Would you stop it, phone? Nobody cares. Someone tell my phone nobody cares. Okay, so line 22 of account summary view model is where the null reference exception happened. What? Aha. So I'm asking for account.account type. And when I did the query to pass in the account to this, I forgot to tell it to include account type. Ergo, it would not have a value for account type when I'm trying to request it. So let's rebuilt. So that should have hot reloaded. Now we'll refresh. And now we have our accounts. We have our accounts. Why isn't my checking account there? My credit card account. Did I not make a credit card account? No, the only accounts we have are a checking, a savings, and a loan account. Okay, just for the fun of it, we're going to go ahead and change the loan account to a credit card. Just because it'll make more sense when we're entering transactions and testing stuff and this, that, and the other thing. Could have sworn I still had account table open, but I don't. You're going to be my credit card account type 3, I'm assuming. Let's go find out. Account types, credit card 3. Hide us. Okay, so if we refresh, that should now say credit charge and still show. If we look down here to just the credit cards, we have spent $13.10 plus $23.56. Why does that say regular paycheck? We're depositing $23.56. 13. What? I really need to take out these records that just don't make sense anymore, because now we're getting to the point where we need to analyze whether the data that we're displaying is correct. The point is that we have spent $174.10. And so that increased the amount on our credit card by $174.10. And then this regular paycheck and primary savings to credit card. I could have sworn I had one of those. Nope. So we just have these, this $23.56 and $2, so $25.56 that are pending, that are going to decrease the amount because they are deposits into the credit card account. So that one made sense. And then the other ones are all pending, where they are only deposits. There isn't a single withdrawal. There is. There is a payment from my primary checking to Vindy's in the amount of $2.23. Oh, okay. It's just that it's a net positive number. So into checking, we have 15 minus $2.23. And then a transfer from savings to checking. So $52 plus 15 is 67 minus 223 is 64 points. 34.77. What am I missing? Oh. Wait, what? I'm so confused. I can't do this. I can't do maths. Really could use we really could use a hover highlight. So $2.23. This gives us a negative $2.23. This gives us a positive $12.77. Nope. This is out. This is a negative negative $17.23 plus 52 is 35, 34, 23, I don't know. 34.77. This number has to be right. So we have a positive 34.77 because from savings we put $52 in, and then we spent whatever I said, 17.23. We'll go with that. Oh. That's really hard to keep track of. Like the way that I showed this transfer in my current Access database is I have one row for going from savings to checking, and then one row for going from to checking from savings. It's yeah. So a payment from this to checking, and then a payment from checking, or a deposit into checking from savings. Point is, I don't know how I'm going to display it. The other point is the data is showing correctly in the account summary. So let's go ahead and commit this as filled in the remaining logic for displaying account summaries. I also want to get rid of it from the main page because now it is on the data entry page. Or did I put it in layout? Is that why it's showing up there? I don't know where anything is. Blazor UI, index, account summaries, go away. Data entry, account summary. Okay, we're good to go. Account summary is going to show up on all of the data entry pages. I kind of want to put it below, as far as markup is concerned. I want to put it below the data entry display, but above the transaction history table. Okay, so I'm going to commit and push that because that's going to be the end of our stream for the day. Deflex was asking, can I do a poll in chat? What do people prefer, X unit or B unit, or what else there is? There's N unit. There, there is MS test. There is MS test v2. I think that's a separate one. But yeah, I mean, I'm more comfortable with X unit myself because I'm familiar with the theory, fact, and the other attributes that are used with it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you whether there is a place that you can go to determine whether one is better than the other for your use case. Like if X unit is better for these types of applications or for testing these types of things, Any unit is better for when you're targeting these systems or whatever. Machine specifications from 10 years ago? Otherwise, they're all the same to me. I don't know what you mean by machine specifications, but that's okay. We are going to go to this screen. So the repo is up to date. I will be posting this stream to YouTube's at least 24 hours after we end. So like Friday's stream, I didn't post until this morning because I forgot. But it'll be there. It'll definitely be there. And other than that, I will be back again on Wednesday, same time, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Mountain Standard Time, which is currently UTC -7. Live coding is still giving some responses on NUnit versus XUnit. But yeah, NUnit, MS Test, XUnit are all the same to him. That's what he's saying. And for me, XUnit because I'm most familiar with it. Which is just not saying much because I'm only this familiar with it. That means that I'm just not familiar with the other two and using them. Yeah, pick the one you like. And after trying them, that's a good recommendation. So I haven't been lurking really anywhere on Twitch, but I guess we can find out who's live, and if it's anyone that I happen to want to lurk on their channel, yeah. I guess we can head over to Settlix, if he's not gaming today. What are you doing? So he is doing game development, but still not done getting ready for a demo. Yeah, we can hop over there. I will lurk on his channel for a while. No telling how long I'll be there. I like him because we have a very similar vibe, but our opinionated natures are so different. So the things that we have opinions about are just so different. Like the things that I care about aren't things that he really cares about. Is all I'm trying to say. But anyway, we'll hang out over there until. Well, I'll just be lurking on his stream anyway, regardless. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back again on Wednesday. Join us on Discord if you feel like it. We will be just hanging about, answering questions, asking questions. Deflux, that'd be another good place for you to put your question about XUnit versus NUnit versus MS Test versus BUnit versus whatever else is out there. So just remember that BUnit can be used with any of those also. BUnit is just a way to test Blazor components. You can write your tests using XUnit or NUnit. Maybe MS Test, I don't know for sure. But you have to check out Eagle's site for that. But yeah, that's it. I will see you all the next time you happen to be around. Okay. Ciao for now. Juice. Bye. Okay, I'm still waiting. Whoa, there he goes. And now the microphone